much, and thank you very much, Shanova, for the invitation to speak. It's been a fascinating couple of days. Very entertaining conference and very informative. Also want to thank you for naming it the Green and Gold. For those of you probably detected, I'm Australian, and for the sporting fans amongst you, the colour of the Australian sporting team is green and gold. So in recognition of Australia Day yesterday, to name the conference the Green Gold is very welcoming. Thank you very much. So today, I want to just run through a little bit about who Glencore is, and Anna gave us a quick introduction there. Why we invest in Norway, why we see Norway as being a key industrial partner for us in our business, and a focus on some of the energy efficiency and reduction in greenhouse gas emissions that projects we're doing across our business. Not just here at Nickelverk, but also in some of our mines in Canada, and I'll speak why that's important as well. And then just finish up with some general comments on what I think, or what we think is needed to continue that innovation in our industry, in particular here in Norway. Glencore, as Anna said, deals in over 90 different commodities. We're separated into major commodity groups, so us being the nickel group, we also have an alloys group, there's a coal group, there's a group that trades and produces zinc, copper, oil, as well as an agriculture business. Around 180,000 employees across the world, 50 different countries, and around 150 individual assets. The nickel business that you see represented on the map up here covers around 6 main assets across 5 different countries. The focus that I'm going to speak about today is what we call our integrated nickel operations, which involves the Raglan mine up the top of Quebec there. It's up in the just short of the Arctic Circle. The Sudbury operations there, which involves 2 mines, a mill and a smelter. And then of course the refinery Nickelverk, the jewel in our crown of the INO, which is our Nickelverk refinery. This operation, this integrated nickel operation, operates as one unit. So ore coming from Raglan and Sudbury goes to the smelter where it's formed into a matte product, and that matte product is then shipped across the Atlantic there to Norway, where it's refined into the world's purest nickel and cobalt product. The ore that we get from both the Raglan and Sudbury mine is polymetallic, meaning it has many metals in it. So along with nickel, we also produce quite a bit of copper, cobalt, and other precious metals out of that deposit, which makes it one of the most, valued assets in the mining world, and well recognised for that fact. The other aspect, I guess, when you look at this operation, you ask the question, well, why do you have a refinery in Nickelverk? Surely where the ore is the best place to put such a asset. And I guess the answer to that question is a little about why we see Nickelverk as being the jewel in our crown. Just one other point I want to make before moving on to that question. We also do quite a bit of what we call urban mining. And this has been a part of our business that's developed quite significantly over the last few years. And that includes taking in at the smelter and also at the refinery here at Nickelverk, third-party feeds, whether they come from used batteries or catalysts or residues from other processes that aren't able to extract metals. We also take intermediates from other nickel producers who are having trouble processing their particular intermediates or ores. And this really goes to the core of that first question we saw up there, which is around what we see as being the key competitive advantage that Norway has, and that is the technical competence of our workforce. And I think it really is a testament to the team that we have there at Nickelverk that we are able to make this a significant part of our business today and ongoing. So other reasons why we see it as being key for us to continue investing in Norway. Norway's, we see it anyway, as being a politically and socially stable economy. And that's very important to us. Predictability in operating terms is absolutely key to us being able to plan and manage our business ongoing. Also, there's a strong financial aspect to the country. As a AAA rating, it makes it a very attractive place to do business for us. We talked a little about the highly educated workforce, but I can't underemphasise the technical expertise we have there at our Nickelverk refinery. And that really helps us when we're looking at energy efficiency and GHG emission reduction projects. Our plant there is quite old, and to achieve the outcomes that the team has done there just goes to show the types of competency we have. Some of the other reasons there, we have a very strong, productive relationship with both our labour unions and also the authorities around labour, and that's, again, very important to us and goes to the stability of how we operate. High environmental awareness across the country and standards to go with that. And that may seem a little counterintuitive to a mining company, but I tell you, this is a very important aspect of why we see Norway being a very attractive place to invest. When we find ourselves in countries that don't have high environmental awareness or high standards, society still holds us to the same standards that we should be operating in the rest of the world. And it can be very difficult to be able to operate those standards when we don't have that type of awareness or regulation backing us up. So the awareness we see here in this country and the regulations that go with it are a big advantage to us operating here. And look, last but not least, and I think this is core to why we're speaking today, I guess, but the support that we get from Enova for the projects around energy efficiency and GHG reduction programs. This is a fantastic program. And globally, we see this as being the best set up support program that we have access to across the countries in which we operate. I'll talk a little bit more about the type of support that we get through the projects, but I just wanted to highlight it as being a key reason why we do continue to invest here in Norway. The refinery itself, I said it's old, it's about 105 years old. You can see there around 550 employees, number of contractors, annual cost to operate, sustaining capital for the refinery is around 300 million NOK. And you can see the products there that we produce. It's about 92,000 tonne of nickel from the Nikkelverk refinery, highest grade nickel in the world, 99.99, is another 9 in there? Yeah, I'm just checking with the guys. % nickel. And the same with our cobalt and precious metals there. Also produce quite a bit of acid you see out of the plant, which comes from the sulfides that part of the metal deposit that we have with nickel there. Seen a number of upgrades over the years, but it is quite an old plant. You'll see here that annual energy usage is about 630 gigawatt hours per year. And the team has done a fantastic job in partnership with a number of others, including Enova as being a key partner there, in delivering energy efficiency projects across the site. You see a number of them listed there. Some of them are completed. We've got some that are still in progress. The new nickel anodes were about 10-15% through the replacement of nickel anodes there. And all these projects are delivering step changes in energy usage at the refinery. I guess the key aspect here is the support we're getting from Enova is really helping us bridge the gap between innovation that we can see in the refinery and providing us with the capital to be able to implement those projects. We're miners, we're processors of ore. It's a very capital intensive industry. So any capital that we have, we like to pour back into producing and extracting the ores that we have. The Enova program helps us bridge that gap between the innovation and the thinking around these projects and actually being able to bring them to fruition. And that's why we see this being such a fantastic program for us. The new copper plant, step change in our energy usage, just a quick overview on that, setting new standards in copper production across environment, health and safety. That's a picture of it that you can see there. One of the key aspects is the control of emissions out of the nickel tank. The set of bars you've seen down the middle there is the copper tank itself. The cover that you see to the left of it sits over the top, capturing those emissions, really does improve our health and environment standards and emissions. The two robots that you see at the back there for extracting plates, one of the most dangerous parts of our operation, so from a safety point of view, certainly provides increases in safety performance for us. Certainly not possible without a number of partners in delivering this project, and you see some of them listed there, so we really do appreciate their support and in what are a number of local businesses as well. And of course, Enova, their support, their financial support in this project is ongoing, as well as the process support. So things like applying for environmental permits, making sure we've got the right documentation and thinking in place for making the application to the government. Enova's been exceptionally helpful in that process to get us across the line. As far as what the plant's going to deliver, 35% improvement on energy efficiency or energy usage. You see the graph shows you where we're currently consuming energy with the current tank house. Some parts of it over 80 years old, so not surprising to see the difference in what we're using from energy now versus what we could potentially use. And the team there is not stopping at just implementing it in Nickelverk either. Later this year, they're holding an international conference where they're pulling together a number of both copper and zinc producers to share the technology that's been developed with the support of Enova. So this way, we see a leveraging of the support that Enova is giving us here across the world in different producers. And as mentioned earlier, just wanted to quickly finish up with a couple of projects that we're doing in our mines as well. Integrated nickel operations means that we rely very heavily on the resource and being able to get the right resource to feed the refinery. So success of Nickelverk depends on us being able to find the right ores to feed it. This is the next generation of mines that we're seeing within the Sudbury area. This deposit's called Onaping Depths, discovered in '94, so you're probably thinking, well, if it's discovered back then, why on earth haven't we put some holes in the ground, developed it? A couple of good reasons for that. One is that it's 2.5 kilometres underground. We're currently mining about 1,500 metres, so significant challenges there. One of them being that the host rock is at about 52 degrees Celsius. You can see this is a schematic, so if we had an underground drone, this is the photo it would take, but you can see there where the current mine workings are in the grey and the new deposit sitting down the bottom. Conventional mining methods uses diesel equipment underground. One mine shift that we're making with this project is switching to battery electric. And the other reason I wanted to highlight these projects, listening to and speaking to a number of people over the last couple of days, I think there's some fantastic organisations that can help us with what we're doing here in Sudbury. But converting to battery electric provides us with a number of huge advantages. One is diesel puts a lot of fume underground. So when you're ventilating a mine of this size, to be able to put enough air underground drives a lot of energy. 70% of our energy usage in a mine sits in the ventilation of the mine. If we can reduce the amount of fume, we don't need as much air. And you can see there the first red square shows we halve the amount of airflow from 550 cubic metres per second down to about 230. Being in Sudbury, it's very cold in the winter. If you're drawing air at minus 35, you need to heat it initially. We've got host rock temperatures of 52 degrees, so when you get it underground, 2.5 kilometres underground, you've got to cool it, otherwise people get a bit uncomfortable at those temperatures. So the refrigeration or air conditioning costs of energy you see there at the bottom square. Converting to battery electric takes a number of heat units out of that process, and you can see we more than halve the energy use we have around refrigeration as well. Other innovations we're looking at is shifting the refrigeration underground so we can start to recircle some of that air. This mine wasn't financial using diesel mining equipment. Switching to battery electric gives us an opportunity at this one. The other quick project I wanted to highlight, Raglan Mine up in the Arctic Circle, not on the grid, all self-generated electricity from diesel. Every electron of electricity comes from burning diesel. We also have a plane and a ship, and that's the only way of getting equipment up there. So significant challenges in operating up there. One thing that we've done over the last 2 years one thing that Raglan does have, is the third best measured wind resource in the world. So one of the things we've looked at doing, or we've done already, is implement a wind turbine, 3 megawatt wind turbine. But we're also coupling that with a number of storage technologies. We have a flywheel that can fill in gaps of 15 seconds in wind speed. We have a battery array that can fill in up to 15 minutes of energy supply within gaps. And then the third technology, which we've just switched on in the last couple of weeks, is a hydrogen generator linked up with an electrolyser. And that'll provide us with 24 hours of energy where we have wind speeds that aren't fit for use. The future, if we can fit our diesel equipment with hydrogen cells, we can then start to use the hydrogen run our mining equipment. Same equations in Sudbury. If we take diesel equipment out of underground, less ventilation, less energy use, the whole equation starts to fall into place. So some tremendous opportunities for us to be quite energy efficient and also GHG neutral in that. Look, just circling back on the first question, we see it, the programs and the environment we have to operate in Norway here being very attractive to us. The question of what we can do less or differently, do nothing. Do what you're doing. It's a fantastic place to operate, and we really do appreciate the support we get from everyone here in Norway. So, Nakamik, which is thank you in Inuktitut, and tusen takk. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, Scott. That's very interesting, and of course very good to hear that we shouldn't do anything. But at least what you're saying is that the fact that we're socially and politically predictable, the access to competence that was brought forward here, and of course the support schemes from Enova, that's at least 3 major things that I think.
Thanks very much.
And we'll continue the discussion after
For sure.
we'll hear from some more speakers. Because